Hey there YouTube, Superbrain AK here, and well, you can check it out. I got my shelves all situated, mostly. There was a problem with this shelf here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of bent. So I did get a replacement shelf that I need to take that one down and put that one back up. But yeah, and the reason why this shelf is all cattywampus is because, well, when it rained recently, there was water coming in, small drips, but yeah. So if you hear banging and sawing outside, that's what they're doing. They're tearing up the walkway out there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. But you can see there's a walkway. That's not the roof. That's the second level walkway. So yeah, what's really bad is the room on the right here. And yeah, it was just pouring in there. So anyway, we've got a little bit more room. Put stuff, and so yeah, I still think I need 2 more shelves to fill in that space there, or 1 more shelf if I still want to use that one, but I might just say forget that one. So yeah, I cleaned this thing off, a little lid, and yeah. So, floor space is looking a little bit better. Getting things a little bit more organized. I still have a ton of, I don't know if you can see that. Whoop. Ton of batteries down here. Those are all the ones that I've tested with this laptop here, Latitude E5520. So yeah, so yeah, well, another update is I sort of rewired this part's all the same to those lights and that light. I have that one off because it'll give you some flicker in the video. I know that's annoying. But yeah, I sort of half braided this cable, keep it a little more from coming apart. See, like here's a little part of electrical tape, and see how it just kind of flows apart. So this part I half braided from the 3 like that, and then so because you braid from inside out and alternating. So I did that, and then I also set this up, just another breadboard thing, and yeah, I took this big wire here is actually from this power supply from my ancient back when XP was brand new power supply. Ooh, upside down. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the specs on that. Oh well, it's 12 volt, 5 amp, 60 watt, 100 to 240 in. So yeah, that gave me some extra power. I was using a 12 volt, 3.3 amp. There they go again. So now I'm using 5 amps, so I have a little bit more power. So what I've got is this breadboard. I've got it all soldered up. Let's just turn on this light. Yeah. So I've got the connector there with some wires over to down there, solid core. I think that's like 20 gauge or 20 gauge solid core. So then I've got actually two, I don't know if you can see that, but two barrel jack cables coming off, and then the wires for the light bar, and then the fish tank lights over there, which just goes up to here. I did have to expand or make the ground wire, which goes wrapped around those, to here and then down longer, because obviously the other one wasn't very long. So yeah, I did that, and yeah, works great. The only problem is the light bar will turn off if I plug something into those, because the capacitance in charging them. So it's a little AirLink 5-port switch. AirLink 101. 100,000. Green switch. And what's the model? AGSW501. So when I plug it in, you'll notice, boop, because this obviously turns on because that's just a physical switch, but this one resets, and it's normally off when the power is lost. But yeah, it's not like I'm overloading the power supply at all, because it's still on. So yeah, that's moderately annoying. But anyway, I also have AirLink 101 Super G wireless router, which is actually pretty awesome because I installed, let's get the number off here. I installed DDWRT on here, and it's awesome. So I actually have it set up as a bridge, so when I go, so like if I have any laptops that don't have wireless, or I don't feel like setting up on wireless, I can just turn this guy on and connect to it. And when I'm going to my grandparents, because we have a lot of wireless devices, because the router is actually upstairs and we don't do anything upstairs, so sorry about that. we have a lot of wireless pollution, so if I set that guy up as a bridge on their wireless, then we can plug Ethernet into all the computers and, well, mostly laptops, one desktop, and have a separate LAN. It's also awesome because if I'm like sharing, if my brother has a movie or something and I want to play on my computer, we can do that with pretty fast speed, because it's, I believe that one is 100 meg, so it's not gigabit, but it's only G, so, but still 100 meg is better than G wireless. So yeah, that's it about that. So that's been working fine, and I can plug more things in. Oh yeah, the capacitance I have on it is a 16 volt 470 solid capacitor, and then I even have two, what's their specs, 16 volt 2200, so that's 16 volt 4870 all of them totaled up. But yeah, still, that guy likes to turn off. It's probably because there is absolutely no capacitance on its circuit board. So if I put a capacitor up here versus big capacitance down here, it'll work much better. So anyway, enough about that, and get on to so quick update. And also, I still haven't really done anything with the Funduino and the touch display. So unfortunately, I'll be working on it though. So what I really wanted to share is actually some monitor boards that I got from work. This one, and they're all Dell monitors. This one's a interesting one, and I believe this one had its own USB hub on its on its base, which is a standard VESA mount, which is awesome because I actually used the base from this one on my monitor at work. So, I mean, all this is from work, so. So anyway, this one is actually pretty cool, minus the swollen capacitors, which I'm actually looking about getting a ESR meter, and it's not gonna be that ASR peak something, the one that HDXFH has. It's going to be like EB something, the one from the Australian guy. I'll maybe post a link in it, and if I do get it, I'll definitely make a review video of it. So I'm gonna get their big CB one, which has normally 6 AA's, where I'm going to get it configured for 3 18650s, seeing how I have 8 of them. So yeah, so that'll be really cool, and that'll do ESR measurement, so I can test all these capacitors. Well, these are obviously all dead because they're all bulged at the top. Slight bit, but yeah, it flickers on, it turns on, then turns off, turns on, then turns off. So yeah. So anyway, the DC is rectified here on these capacitors. And it goes to this capacitor, then over here, which, if you see these 3 components, what do you immediately think of? Diode, transistor, coil. And can anybody say, well, the diode is obviously coming from ground to the coil out. So, if anybody guessed right, that's a buck converter. And what's interesting is this little setup, if you might recognize, one transistor, capacitor, another transistor. That sounds like ZVS. And yeah, if you look at it, I don't know if you can figure that out or not, but yes, that's actually a ZVS, because the capacitor is in between both collectors, and then it's got these resistors here from the bases. I'm not sure about the diodes though, because isn't there normally diodes on a ZVS? So it's at least some form of ZVS. At least with the capacitance. Because actually, this entire part, besides the buck converter and the feedback over here, this is completely isolated. All it gets is power. So yeah, that sounds like a ZVS. And it uses the buck converter to buck the voltage down on the ZVS here to get your variable display, or brightness, because of the CCFL driver part. And yeah, it's got same setup, transistor, diode, inductor, over to one transistor, capacitor, another transistor. So it's a little bit harder to see on this one that it's a ZVS, but yeah, if you follow the circuit, it's something very similar. So that's pretty interesting. So all this does is outputs two pulse widths, oops, here and here, two pulse widths to the ZVS's, and then monitors the current coming back, and yeah, it changes its waveform based on the pulse width or enable from that, from the logic board. So yeah, I do have another one of these that I just stole lots of the components from, but this one I might think about actually getting to work. So I need some 35 volt 470 microfarad. That's actually these are 16 volt 1000 microfarad. So I believe I have some to replace these, but these I need 35 volts. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's interesting. There's a little regulator there. So yeah, that one's pretty cool. And then this one is also pretty cool because, well, it has a similar chip here, but really it goes out to these little guys, which seem to be little H-bridge setups. So if I could either use them to output current there, or the high voltage. It's interesting how it has little extender pieces. That's so you can pull the LCD up to disconnect it from here. So I might be able to make some sort of like dual frequency output on it. I don't know. That'll take a little bit more research. But yeah, this one has kind of swollen capacitors too. But these two seem to be fine. These are the regulation from to these two. What are they doing out there? So yeah. So I'll need some more 470 microfarad, 25 volt. I believe that's what I have here. Oh, 25 volt, 1000 microfarad. Oh well. So yeah, what's cool about this one is that it has its own backplane. So I can do that, and it's a little metal sandwich. Alright, well, it's almost 20 minutes, and you know how this camera recorder can't do 20 minutes, and it's 11:24.